On 17th of November, the Department of English conducted a text-based program and career opportunity for the English optional students. The Department of English welcomed the first year optional English students. The resource person was Mr. Charles Joseph, Coordinator, PG Center, Tertiary College, Mysore. He also spoke about money and life management lesson in the novel The Financial Experts written by R.K. Narayan. He also spoke about the challenges of life and the social connectivity, and he also said that the practical exposure is important for students. He further enlightened the gathering about the career opportunity for the optional English students and the higher educations. This program was preceded by Dr. K.T. Krishna Gowda, Principal of Government First Grade College for Women Hassan. HOD, staffs and students were present in the program.
Welcome to College News. This is Hema Angel, student of journalism, Government First Grade College for Women, MG Road, Hassan, giving you the news. On 17th November, the Department of English conducted a text-based program and also a career opportunity for English optional students. The main guest and resource person was Mr. Charles Joseph, Coordinator of PG Center, Tertiary College, Mysuru. Mr. Charles Joseph explained the importance of English optional subject and also gave an insight to the novel The Financial Expert written by R.K. Narayan.
And involvement in academic activities. The laurels will be in the form of the rewards in the form of degrees and qualifying in exams. So I am very happy to announce that our dear colleague Dr. Vinitha MS, recently she was awarded with PhD degree from Mother Teresa University. Yes, and in February 2021 she was awarded, and we are very eager to honor her on our behalf of the department. We are very happy, and Dr. Vinitha, please welcome on the stage so as can receive our honor. And the topic of our thesis is the portrayal of suburbans in the works of Mahashweta Devi, and as you know, these two are very important feminist writers in Indian English. So now we have the added joy in our department. Recently, the results of KCET exams have been announced, and we are happy to announce that Mrs. Yashaswini, our guest faculty of the department, she is qualified in KCET, and we are happy to give a token of our appreciation to you, madam. Please come. With flying colors. They both got first class marks in that examination. Now they are having the qualification and eligible to become lecturers in higher education. We are very happy that you are very much successful and you will be joining our department.
My name is Rachna. I am from final year SPG, and I am presenting all my students' play, which is prescribed for this year. All My Sons by Arthur Miller is a play set during the Second World War and is about a successful businessman, Joe Keller. He was trained to fulfill his social obligations and has failed to recognize the role of society after he is blinded by lust for money during the war. He lives peacefully with his wife Kate and his son Chris, but had another son, Larry, who died in a plane crash during the war. The death of their eldest son Larry during the war has completely shaken his wife Kate Keller. Even after so many years, she believed that Larry would be alive somewhere. Joe Keller was a war profiteer during the war, and with his business partner Steve Weaver, had set up his own business to ship cylinder for fight planes. However, Steve Weaver, father of Annie Weaver, who is now engaged to Joe's daughter Chris, is in prison after he was found guilty of shipping cracked cylinders heads for fighter jets. This resulted in the death of 21 fighter pilots, and the cylinders were shipped in the absence of Joe Keller, who was sick and on leave on that day. However, Steve never gave up the claim that he had shipped the cylinders on the order of Joe over a telephone call. Even when George, who is Steve's son, goes to meet him to tell him about the marriage of Annie and Chris. After so many years, Steve is still of the belief that he is innocent. This sparks feelings of uneasiness and suspicion in the mind of George, who is now a lawyer. George, Annie's brother, calls long distance from Columbus, where Steve is imprisoned, saying he is going to visit the Keller home that evening. Annie worries that George is coming with revelations about the Joe Steve manufacturing affairs. George arrives. In a huff and though Jim and Chris attempt to calm him, George accuses Joe of knowingly inducing Steve to take the fall for the manufacturing failures. Joe denies these accusations to George, who leaves the home. But as Annie runs after him, Joe announces to Chris that in fact George's story is true. Chris is aghast. Not just that his father produced the defective parts, but that Joe lied to put Steve in jail and proceeded to make a fortune from the factory in the post-war boom. Chris feels complicit in his father's immorality and goes for a drive that evening. At the play's end, Chris returns from his drive to find Annie.
Honorable speakers, my dear students, a pleasant afternoon. It is a great privilege for me and I feel so elated to introduce our honorable guest. If one takes a closer look at the academically achieving person, you can see the hard work and impressive academic experiences along with disciplined achievements at once. Son of late Mr. Vincent Joseph and Valeria, graduated from the Luminous College in the year 2005, Mysuru, and took up MA in English from the University of Mysore in the year 2007. He continued his studies in the same year and took up MPhil in the year 2017, also enrolled to doctoral studies and will be getting awarded in few days.
Narayan's characters are like this. We don't sectionalize them, we just read them just because they are literally translated from Kannada. I said countries, but when you read his characters, you will find a character whose behavior is a bit from Hassan, one from a bit from Shimoga, one from a bit from, the borders of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, one from a bit from, the social exhibitionism that you find, one from a bit from Mysore, but you will never find all those people anywhere else. The kind of mental stature he creates with all of you is that you will find all these characters only in Malgudi. This is what is the art of the artist. That's what James Cromwell also justifies to say that the artist cannot be removed from the art because there is no art in the artist too. This is the very juncture with which we make it a point to understand, we sectionalize, we speak about with a very question. Once, there was this very nice identity which it says that we speak about the very question of value systems, right? We speak about value systems. When we speak about value systems, there is a very beautiful terminology which is called searching for absolutes in a relativistic world. Okay? Life lessons are that. What are these absolutes? Absolutes are like love, pain, integrity, fidelity, kindness, virtue, and virginity, and a lot of things goes on like that. These are things which we start expecting from people who have related themselves to technology. Okay, they have related themselves to technology. Mobile is a part of your life, it is a part of your body these days, so you cannot live without it. So you are somebody who is in that kind of a image. At this point of time, or at this juncture of lifestyle that you have, one very beautiful thing that you find is that how can you expect absolute love from someone? How can you expect absolute ideal? There is one thing with Margaya's character which it says, what takes you up is the same thing that brings you down. Margaya is somebody who wanted to make money by very many different ways which took him up. The very image with which he climbed, he made a point to come back to his normal stature with the same life. This is according to Arkanarayan, he says, the karma of life. But please understand, to rise and fall and to rise and fall of a specificity of a human being, or how do you specify the very necessity of a human being? To put that in one simple word, there is one very logical sensibility that we have. Each one behaves according to the background from which we come. If you don't have money in the background in which you have, the only work you do is to earn money. If you don't have a relationship in the background that you have, the work that you do is to get a relationship. Similarly, to the questions of all these absolutes, these are life lessons, where you search for something which you don't have, but we never try to appreciate the things that we have. This is what is something which we make it a point to live in singularity. See, when we read this novel of Margaya, or for that matter, the financial expert, none of us make a point to read, or none of us make a point to understand the very quotient of intelligence that we see, the quotient of identity that we see. Margaya is not telling about his life. It is Arkanarayan who is telling about Margaya's life. When you are listening about me from someone, either there will be extra in it or there will be less in it. The very question that you find here is, the characters that we listen to becomes the most important identity of representation. All of you watched Jai Bhim movie? Did you watch? Did you watch the movie? It's a narration. It is a story of some advocate, some judge, told by somebody through someone's character. Similarly is with the factor, somebody is there as a money lender, somebody is there as a financial expert who is working on usury, who is working on interest, who is working on borrowing and lending. That character is played by another person who is a person in the book, told by Arkanarayan. When a story is narrated, the story is narrated from three different levels. What I say about myself, what others say about me, and what the author says about me. This becomes the central idea of being a protagonist. Why do you call it a protagonist? Because he has underwent a situation in the character, a situation in the novel, where he has become a round character. He has had his pitfalls, he has had his rise and fall, and he has come to the level by which he is appearing into it. This is the very picture that we find. His narration bridges the gap between tradition and modernity. Now you should ask the question, sir. You are saying tradition and modernity. Dr. Pal's book on a specific knowledge, how is it called tradition and how is it called modernity? Why do you think that in that instance? Let me say this to you because all of you are girls. There is difference between knowledge and information. There is a lot of difference between knowledge and information. I will give you a situation, okay? I hope all of you have heard this instance which comes in the Bible which says that there was a man with a bunch of animals and his family were in the boat, and the boat sailed and the whole earth was flooded with water, and he came out of the flood after 100 days. Okay? He came out of the flood after 100 days. Where was the clock? Where was the calendar? How did he know that there is a sunrise and a sunset? How did he know that it was 100 days? I'm giving you this example in connection with knowledge and information. How would I do that? Any guess? Any guess? Wild guess? It's a simple thing. There were women in the crowd. There's a instance in the boat where there were women also, and women undergo a different kind of a cycle which is completely different from men. It is with those cycles that they discovered that they stayed in the boat for 100 days. This is what is something which you find with the very idea of the knowledge and information. Now the socio-economic stability that you have, or the socio-economic identity that we had, brings the character who comes into the publication of the book. Now we should ask, this publication of the book brings to an area which actually is my area of specialization for gender studies. Okay? Gender studies and gender theory is one area which I am specialized with. In fact, I have done a 1.5 crore project sponsored by UGC on gender identities. Okay? Why this happens is because there was a time in which people did not know the knowledge system onto which you are supposed to take people. What is the difference between people? How exactly do you find the very references of lifestyle? How exactly do you find the references between people of a particular information and those you don't have? What are stereotypes? This had to be told through someone. That is what their revolution that started at that time, and he puts that into a character. Now you should ask a question, sir, why does he make even the Englishman the victim there by giving such a book? Because he wants to be a person supporting the Indian idea, at the same time he wants to be against the British identity that has existed. The ideas of happiness is encashed. He makes a lot of money, Margaya makes a lot of money. He is somebody who goes from luck to luck, he goes from rags to riches. He is someone who has known things to a greater extreme, from the position of whatever he was to anything that he was. But please understand, the man who is establishing himself from an identity which is new in existence, but he does not know that he has to get back to the same identity. The very picture of getting back to the identity is that money is the central element of the book. You get money there, you make it a point to understand money, you make it a point to reflect on money, you make it a point to establish money, but you never understand that life, to lead a very decent one, you don't require a lot of money. You don't require a lot of money to lead life. Let me give this one example and then I'll conclude with 3 minutes. I will give you 2 crores of money, okay, with 1 kg of hard chunk gold, and I leave you in a forest. Can you survive? But you have money, you can't survive. The very question is that you need to have things at a proportion in which you're supposed to have it. If things are more at a disproportionate place, you will not be in a very differentially respected person. This is what is something which is the very question that you find. He's someone who's suffering, who's hardworking, who's paid, who's everything. But then, once he gets that portion of money, he does not remember everything. The pain in the pleasure is that his son has no education. His son's education, Balu's education, is nowhere concerned with the kind of lifestyle that he is leading. You can buy, unlike the way we read the famous, lines of Chanakya, who says that you can buy a bed but not sleep. You can buy a lot of things. Similarly, knowledge here does not get into him, and he elopes from home. Everyone questions him. Earlier, people were questioning for money. Now, people are questioning him for so many other things. These are the life lessons that you have. Everyone has a problem. All of you sitting here, all of us sitting here, we have one or the other problem. The real question is that how do you avoid the problem and find an answer for things that we have and we are searching for? This is what is something which is more important for us to understand. Then you have maturity lessons in the book. You have lessons of identity. You have lessons of people with language. You have people who are listening to prayers. Please understand, he prays to Goddess Lakshmi on a penance with patience, but Goddess Lakshmi doesn't open and just give just like that. We don't have the woodcutter and the axe story that happens there, right? The thing that happens there is that he has to put his effort. What teaches him for the 48 days of penance is that patience. You have to work hard. You need to make a point to do something like that. Is what is something which makes hard. And end the talk, after which anyhow people will ask me questions, with a story. All of you have heard this famous story of a crow and a thirsty crow, right? Can somebody tell me what this story is? What actually the story is of a thirsty crow? The crow is thirsty, there's a pot in which there's water and then a roll Am I right? Yes? Okay. Now I'll give you a post-analysis of this story. I'll give you an analysis of the story and then you have to do a post-analysis of the story. If a crow which drinks very little water, if that itself does not have any place to drink water in that village or city, what is the plight of human beings there? What is the plight of the human beings there? Once the crow throws stones into it, that is the water which is kept for the man also there who is unknown, who is narrating the story too. He cannot drink that water. Then, third instance, the crow drinks the water there and grows. Can we drink? Don't you think we should penalize the crow? This is the problem of narration. This is the problem of narration that we have. This is the problem of the story that we have. This is the problem of every story. We never make a point of analyzing. This is called criticism. We have optional English students here. Please understand, this is how you need to understand criticism because you need to get yourself out of the story. Okay? This is my short lecture for all of you. Thank you for patient listening. Please ask me if you have any questions. Any questions? Anything to clarify? Thank you.